Hey nail besties, we are bare nailed and ready to try ZIJAI. I have received so many requests for this little guy here, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little terrified, okay? I don't know if y'all saw my short on this, but this bottle literally says professional. I'm not hopeful. I've heard really great reviews on this, and we'll see. The SDS looks good. They never responded. They never sent me one, but I was able to get it from Reddit. However, I see no listed photo initiator on either the SDS or the back of the box, which is a little concerning, but I know that ingredients in under, I think it's 1%, don't have to be listed. And it does say they're TPO free, but there's really no way to confirm that since they won't put it in the SDS. So I don't love that, but we're gonna do it for the gram and hope for the best. I know a lot of people are like, oh, why do you do this? Why do you risk it? To be completely honest with you, it's fun. Like at this point, it's almost kind of addicting to see if I'm gonna react to something or not. And I don't want to be labeled a brand elitist, because I know that a lot of people are like, oh, you know, nail techs and pros and all this stuff, they only like recommend brands that are $20 a bottle because they don't want the DIY girlies to succeed. And that is not true. I am a DIY girly. I am a broke working mom. So if I can find a cheap polish that is relatively safe, then great. I just have not found that thus far. And it does so happen that better formulas tend to be in pricier polishes. That's kind of how most things work. And honestly, I'm gonna be kind of upset if this works and doesn't flare me, because it means that companies like Beetles, Model Ones, etc. could have always made a decent polish that isn't a super sensitizing formula and still keep a similar price point. So that's gonna be kind of a slap to the face if this works. All right, well, let's get right into it. Okay, so I'm going in with Light Elegance Cutie Base because if y'all think I'm going to put that stuff directly on my nails with no buffer, I mean, I'm crazy, but I'm not that crazy. And you will notice that I have not done any cuticle prep because I do not even want the possibility of any open skin. All right, now I'm going in with Jimmy Gel to adhere my tip. Again, if you're gonna be using products that aren't as reputable, just make sure you have a good base underneath. All right, we are prepped and ready. I don't have much of a vision other than I really want to use this green and obviously a tortie shell, because I did get that little kit that's got the amber and the black. So let's do this. That is stunning. I will say the brush is actually pretty nice. It's a little rounded. Ooh, that is so pretty. All right, so I'm curing this with my Portato, and it's probably the best generic lamp on Amazon. And that is the problem with these gels, right? Is that there is no lamp recommendation. You kind of just have to guess. Most gels do cure at 365, 405 nanometers, but there's no way for you to be 100% sure because most of these companies do not have their own lamps. They don't test any lamps, so you're totally winging it here, but all in the name of science. All right, let's do a second coat. I love this color so much. And I'm not even usually a green girly, but this is so stunning. If there's only one color I ever end up reusing from this, it's gonna be this one. Looks like the brush lost a little bristle or something here. Let's try to get that out. All right, I decided to wipe all the polish off of it so that y'all could see the brush. It is a really nice brush for a $4 polish. So it's got that going for it. Absolutely stunning color. I think this one I will get back to, if it doesn't flare me, of course. All right, it does magnetize very well. I love that velvety look. All right, now let's do the amber. Very nice amber color. Again, this brush makes it pretty easy to get good application. Look at that. Okay. I also really do like the consistency, very easy to work with. All right, so here is the sheer black or brown. And we're just gonna take a little of this and spread it around the nail. And I am not using blooming gel. You can if you want to, but in order to leave it as a fair test, I really just wanted to use only their products. All right, I feel pretty happy with that. Let's nuke it. All right, now we're gonna go back in and add some depth. Darken up the centers. You can also do this with a black, ideally, but I didn't get a black. So we're working with what we've got here. All right, now we're gonna top it with one more layer of the amber. And there we are. I feel like I maybe should have started with a more brown base. And so I'm gonna try that on my other finger. All right, we're gonna try this one. She's very pretty, another one of those silky type cat eyes. Very thin layer of that. Oh, that is stunning. Look at that. Oh my goodness. I love. All right, we're gonna try that. And same deal. We're just gonna go in with our design. Should probably put this on a palette. It would be a lot easier, wouldn't it? All right, now just darken up the centers. Now let's go in with the amber. Yeah, I think I like that much better. Actually, I don't know. I don't know which one I like better, you guys. I think this one. Let me know. But either way, they're both very, very pretty. I am so impressed with how these are performing. Okay, so now we are just going to go in with their Russian matte top coat, and I'm really excited about this because I don't really have a matte top coat that does chrome very well, and chrome is the bane of my existence, so we're going to go for it here and see how this one does. Okay, so she is matte, and that is by far the easiest chrome I have ever done. I am so insanely impressed. This is honestly so gorgeous. I'm tempted to just leave it matte, but also the cat eye is gorgeous too, so we're just gonna top coat. And I am using a Bio Seaweed Gel top coat. It is one of my absolute favorites. And I just didn't trust this brand enough yet to get their top coat also, but if this goes well, I will be getting their top coat. This is by far one of my favorite fall manicures probably ever. It is so stunning. Just look how the light hits it. Now let's see if I'll react.
One day later.
I just woke up with no reaction and some of the nicest nails I've ever had. What the heck? I am absolutely shooketh. And we are back. This has got to be my most requested update video ever. And so we are now on day 7 or 8. Anyway, it's nail day, and these bad boys are still going strong. No reaction, no nothing. I am absolutely shooketh. I was so surprised that I had to make a video the next day about the fact that I had no reaction. I just could not believe it. And I loved working with these gels so much. So, what I'm going to say next is probably going to surprise you. Is this the absolute best affordable polish I have tested thus far? Absolutely 100%. Is this nail narrative approved? Not exactly. And let me tell you why. Even though the formulation in these seems to be pretty decent and it did not flare my allergic reaction, I was unable to get a hold of anyone from this company, and I attempted multiple times on both TikTok and Instagram. They don't have an email unless maybe I just couldn't find it. The closest thing I got to an answer was asking on their live, and I will say their live representative was significantly more helpful than the Beetles one. But so all she could do was assure me that the products were safe and showed me the ingredients on the back of the box and assured me that those were the ingredients. However, the SDS has been floating around Reddit, and it was also recently posted by Manicures and Mess, and the SDS shows ethyl methacrylate. However, the back of the box does not. My best guess is that it's just an outdated SDS because they had other formulas. So maybe they just don't have an updated one for this one, at least not that they've sent me. And I'm really hoping that's the case because misrepresenting an ingredient like ethyl methacrylate, which is a monomer, is a huge no-no, especially for people who have allergies. And the problem is I wouldn't know if it has it or not because by some miracle, I'm actually not allergic to ethyl methacrylate. So even if this did have it, it still wouldn't have flared me. So if you're super, super duper sensitive or you do have an allergy to ethyl methacrylate, I would recommend avoiding these. Now, apparently these are a huge brand of polish back in China, and they are used in salons over there where requirements are really, really strict, which gives me a little bit more peace of mind about these. They don't have their own lamp. These have not been tested. There is no lamp that they suggest. So you kind of have to just guess and hope that your lamp matches what is required to cure these. And then again, of course, there's the fact that it's really, really hard to get a hold of anyone from this company to troubleshoot or help you out in any way, which is why I always recommend professional brands where you can actually ask questions and troubleshoot the product and somebody is going to help you. So all I will say is this. I really liked them. This will not be replacing any of my collections anytime soon, nor will it become my main polish, and I do not recommend using these as your first base. I will continue to purchase and use their cat eyes because they are seriously top tier. But that's about all I will be using from this company, and I will always use it over a hypoallergenic base or Gel X, but not directly on my natural nail. However, I am really, really happy to have finally found something that I feel okay recommending to everybody who keeps asking me for Beetles pricing. And so, like I said, this actually really annoys me because it's been possible this entire time to make an affordable polish with a semi-decent formula that isn't full of monomer. So why haven't all these other cheap companies done it? So yes, the final verdict is I really like these. And if you must use affordable options, this is definitely the best one. So far, I'm still going to be trying some other ones. I want to try this brand called Ten Coco, which has kind of just come out of nowhere and blown up on TikTok and seems to have a very similar formulation to these. So stay tuned for that. Can I confidently say these products are nail narrative approved? No, probably not, especially not until they clear up the whole SDS situation, because I don't feel comfortable recommending something that may have ethyl methacrylate to my really sensitive or allergic girlies. If you don't have an allergy and you're balling on a budget, I think this is a great option. Just proceed with caution. All right, nail besties, that is it for this one. I was really excited to make this because probably the number one question I get asked is which affordable brand can I use that is less likely to give me a lifelong allergy, and I finally have an answer for that one. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you aren't already and that bell icon so that you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. I've got a ton of ideas that I want to get out there, and there will be a hypoallergenic giveaway. So stay tuned for when that's going to be happening. All right, besties, as always, thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next one.